A famous journalist thought they could humiliate Barron Trump in front of hundreds of people, but in just a few minutes, everything would change completely. The ballroom of the Fairmont Grand Hotel was breathtakingly magnificent. Crystal chandeliers sparkled from the ceiling, reflecting light onto the luxurious banquet tables. The sound of clinking glasses echoed amidst sophisticated conversations. The high-end suits and evening gowns created a scene no different from a prestigious award ceremony. Tonight's charity event gathered the most powerful figures from politics, business, and media. Notable names from journalism, entertainment, and politics were all present, creating an atmosphere both formal and filled with anticipation. Among the familiar faces, there was one figure who rarely appeared in public: Barron Trump. Though only 18 years old, Barron possessed a calm demeanor and tall stature that made him stand out effortlessly even when he wasn't seeking attention. His sharp eyes swept across the room without any unnecessary expression, simply observing. No one knew that in just a few minutes, everything would completely change. Conversations gradually subsided as the MC stepped onto the stage, preparing to introduce a special speaker, a famous journalist well known for their sharp comments and fearless confrontations. Everyone eagerly awaited their speech, but no one could have predicted what was about to unfold. But amidst the laughter and curious glances, no one suspected that in just a few minutes, the atmosphere of the party would completely transform. A moment that would leave the entire room speechless. And afterward, the whole world would be talking about it. Besides Barron Trump's appearance, another figure also drew attention: the evening's special guest journalist. They were not just a familiar face in the media, but also one of the most controversial figures. With their sharp and uncompromising commentary, they were praised as a fearless writer, but many also saw them as a professional provocateur seeking scandals. Over the years, this journalist had repeatedly used their words to take down celebrities, from politicians to business leaders. They had made shocking statements on television and written explosive articles that made even the most powerful figures wary. Some admired their directness, but they also made plenty of enemies in political circles. And tonight, they had set their sights on a new target: Barron Trump. Why Barron? Because he was the perfect name to create controversy. As the son of one of America's most controversial figures, yet rarely appearing in public, Barron was an enigma. The journalist knew that just by touching the Trump name, they would get their viral moment, and tonight was the golden opportunity to do it. They didn't just come here to give a speech. They had a plan. They knew that just one sharp comment at the right moment would make social media explode. And they knew exactly how to do it. The journalist stepped onto the stage with a confident smile. Applause filled the room, not out of admiration, but anticipation. Who would they target tonight? They began with a relaxed demeanor, sharing amusing stories about past gala mishaps. They mentioned how a champagne tower crashed down last year, sending waiters into panic while guests couldn't help but laugh. The audience chuckled along, the atmosphere lightening. Opening jokes are always the best way to lower the audience's defenses. The journalist then moved on to their most familiar territory: politics. They made sharp observations about powerful figures, earning approving nods from some in the room. A few raised eyebrows from those who didn't particularly like them, but maintained their politeness. Everyone knew this was just the warm-up. But then, the journalist paused for a brief moment, as if considering whether to continue. They smiled, took a deep breath, and dropped a bombshell in the middle of the room. But it's impossible to talk about politics without mentioning one name, someone who, love him or hate him, we simply can't ignore: Donald Trump. The room suddenly shifted. Some burst into laughter, others exchanged meaningful glances. At some tables, someone quietly set down their wine glass. A soft cough echoed from the back of the room. The comfort of the party had now given way to an atmosphere of tense anticipation. Everyone knew this is where the speech would truly begin. The journalist paused for a moment, as if letting the audience guess their next move. Then, with a knowing smile, they continued. We can't discuss world affairs without mentioning a figure of global influence, the man who made orange America's brand identity. A few laughed, while others managed only awkward smiles. The journalist paused, letting the laughter subside, then leaned toward the microphone, their voice deeper but loaded with innuendo. But we're not just talking about him. Let's discuss his least mentioned legacy, the next generation. I'm talking about Barron Trump. This time, the room fell silent. The atmosphere shifted instantly. Some people squirmed in their seats, exchanging tense glances. The journalist had crossed a new line. Can you imagine growing up in a gold-plated tower where everything's made of marble, while your father is busy arguing about covfefe on Twitter? The earlier laughter had vanished completely. Those who had been chuckling sat in silence. Some guests turned to each other, confused by the sudden change in atmosphere. All eyes in the room now focused on Barron. A heavy moment hung over the ballroom. The journalist had achieved what they wanted, absolute attention. But what they didn't know was that Barron was about to do something unexpected. The space froze. Barron remained silent. No raised eyebrows, no movement, no sign of confusion or anger. Only absolute composure. Then, something unexpected happened. Barron pushed back his chair and stood up. The ballroom held its breath. No one moved, not a sound was made. His impressive height and composed demeanor suddenly enveloped the room in a different atmosphere. Barron walked toward the stage. Slow, steady, each step measuring the weight of this moment. The journalist flinched slightly, fingers gripping the edge of the podium. Their initial confidence now began to waver. When Barron stopped right in front of the stage, he looked directly at the journalist. No anger, no mockery, just a cold, profound, and eerily calm gaze. He spoke, his voice calm yet resonating. I want to thank you for tonight's lesson. The ballroom froze. Some held their breath. The journalist, who had been controlling the game moments ago, now stood speechless. Barron paused for a brief moment, then continued, his voice steady but weighted. But there's something important we should all remember. Respect isn't something that needs to be earned. It should be given from the start. No one moved. A wave of tension swept through the ballroom. The journalist, for the first time tonight, was left without words. Barron turned slightly, scanning the crowd before delivering his final words. Behind every joke, every attack, there's a real person. I hope tonight we all learned that. And then he turned and walked back to his seat. The room erupted. No one moved. Silence engulfed the ballroom, so heavy that someone's rapid breathing could be heard from the back tables. All eyes remained fixed on Barron, as if they had just witnessed something they never expected. Then a single clap echoed through the room. It started as one solitary clap, but instantly erupted into more. The entire ballroom awakened. Thunderous applause burst forth, continuing endlessly. Some guests leaped to their feet, clapping with intense enthusiasm. Those who had laughed at the journalist's jokes earlier now lowered their heads, avoiding Barron's gaze. The journalists stood frozen. Their mouth opened as if to speak, but no words came out. Their initial confidence had completely vanished. Their fingers still gripped the podium, but everyone could see that they had been defeated, absolutely without a single word of argument. Phone cameras shot up, capturing a moment no one would forget. This story wouldn't end in this room, it would spread across the world. Within hours, this moment had exploded across social media. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube were flooded with clips shared millions of times. The hashtag Barron Trump response quickly soared to global trending. Comments poured in across social media. The moment Barron Trump made an entire room fall silent and rise in applause. This is true class. His words were more powerful than any argument. His composure was incredible. No need for debate or argument. Through sheer presence, Barron Trump proved everything. Major newspapers jumped in. News channels rushed to share the video with stunning headlines. The moment that changed everyone's perspective on Barron Trump. Media stunned by his powerful response. Barron Trump defeats journalist with his most powerful weapon, silence and dignity. What do you think about Barron Trump's response? Did the journalist go too far? Leave your thoughts below. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more compelling content.